Greetings, metalers everywhere. Welcome to the Nightmare Cabin. And if this is your first video, welcome aboard. Right, gather around because this one's important. I want to talk to you about a very good album, a very special release. This one's a bit of a curveball, this one. I wasn't expecting this one at all, but it's come out. It's kicked me right in the arse. And this is the brand new album from Rapture with Malevolent, Demise, Incarnation. I'm just going to take the booklet out so you've got less of a glare. You'd think I'd learnt this lesson by now, wouldn't you? Right, Rapture. If you are a regular viewer, you may have watched one of my collection updates a while back. Well, I first heard of Rapture last year, and this was the one that I was spellbound by. A Paroxysm of Hatred. Paroxysm of Hatred, not hatred. I don't know what I must had an Exodus Freudian slip there. And I've heard this album, and I went on the band's Bandcamp page and basically bought everything by them because by the time you paid the shipping, it was a steal, really. So you've got their first album, Crimes Against Humanity, and then you've got an EP, Total Madness Reigns, and then. Yeah, this was the main event, the Paroxysm of Hatred. I got into this last year, and then out of nowhere, we've got a new album. Mind you, this one came out in 2018. I only actually heard it last year. And yeah, I was excited to pick this up in the last week or so. And I've been playing it every day. And it's one of those albums that just, it gets better with every listen. And yeah, there's a lot going on this, so we're going to get into it, but I'm going to try and start from the beginning. So I only touched on them on my collection update. I just went through a few things that had come in the post and sort of gave a quick overview of these guys. And I can dive in and go into a bit more detail with this video. So what you basically need to know, Rapture are a band from Greece, which is a good indicator because I've never heard of a bad band from Greece, have you? There's something about, you know, the Greeks. They just hit everything. It's either excellent or we don't bother doing everything at all. And I think there must be a really intense competition in their metal scene out there. And so what you really need to know is Rapture. Regular viewers will know that I've got a bit of a soft spot for, in particular, with bands that sort of walk that little midway, that little section between death metal and thrash metal. I love thrash metal that's at its heaviest, with sort of 1 foot in death metal, but not quite there. So think bands like Solstice, Demolition Hammer, Morbid Saint, Numbskull, etc. The first like 2 or so Pestilence albums. This, so far, with these 3 releases, it's been thrash metal with 1 foot in death metal. And I think it's safe to say on this album, Rapture totally convert into death metal. And what's really interesting is that they actually do it as the album progresses. So I'll explain as we get into the review. It's got everything. I mean, I think this, yeah. So we've gone from a thrash metal band with 1 foot or virgin on death metal. Now we're a death metal band with thrash tendencies, with little licks, little bits of black metal thrown in for good measure, and a few little sprinklings of Morbid Angel just to tie things up. Sounds awesome, doesn't it? Because it is. So when I say, so the opening track is the title track. So, again, that's Malevolent, Demise, Incarnation. Now, this starts out quite thrashy. So, this feels to me pretty much like a standard thrash metal song, the way the riffing goes, the way the song's played out. And then there's these nice little melodic little licks. So, there'll be like a little tail at the end of a riff, like... And then there's this beautiful little clean section at the end, where it goes really dark and atmospheric and then sort of builds up again at the end. These little clean sections, though, along with the Like the shredding and the it's sort of a thrash metal riff, but played in a sort of death metal style with a sort of death metal production, and it kind of reminds me. Think Death in their more technical melodics, the sort of human, not even human era. I mean, I think more individual thought patterns era of Death, and the early section of Pestilence. The name's escaping me now. Sorry, bear with me. Yes, I think Consuming Impulse and Testament to the Ancients. Think if there was an imaginary album between these two, then you start to get the drift. So stick that back. And the vocalist. Let's quickly look up his name. Apostolos. I'm not going to try pronouncing your surname, mate. I'm sorry. I'm only going to mess it up and make myself sound even more stupid than I already do. He's got the voice. He's got this real raspy voice, but he sings with there's a lot of emotion in his voice as well, and it's quite rough around the edges. So it's not a typical just, He's got a bit of a raspy scream. So think Martin Van Buren from the first two Pestilence albums. Hail of Bullets, Asphyx, you know the guy. And remind me a little bit of Scott Ruth from Ripping Corpse as well, which I really liked. So yeah, nice rough, raspy vocals, but a lot of emotion in there, and he really lets out a scream now and then, and really lets them climb as well. So it sort of goes, So yeah, some great vocals on here. Inanimate Fragility carries on things quite nicely. Predatory Menace. Again, tracks things along nicely, but there's this beautiful, like real sinister sounding, dark, clean section in the middle, and it's topped off with this really nice sort of frantic but melodic solo. After Your Eternity is another highlight. Nice start and stopping song. It's again quite atmospheric towards the end. Real beautiful riffs, perfectly put together, nicely paced. And then I would say that's one of the standouts on there. But then that leads nicely into the I Am Become Death. Now this one starts off quite gallopy, and then goes into some like nice killer shredding with nice melodic interludes in between. But around the 4:20 mark, there's this like nice melodic shredding, like, and that there, when that riff kicks in, you go, yeah, that is black metal. That is pure black metal. It easily could have been on Mayhem's Die Santanas Don Mistoros, or even off of like one of the classic trilogy, Transylvanian Hunger, Blazing the Night Sky, Dark Throne. It's that classic sounding black metal riff, even a bit of Rotting Christ as well, And that was really nice because there's kind of swinging at the moment between thrash and death metal, and then this lovely little black metal section kicks in. It's just splits things up nicely. Even Cannibal Corpse would be proud of this title. Birth Rape Leftovers, Praise the Maggots. But again, really nice sinister lead at the beginning of that one, and before it kicks off, and then yeah, just an awesome unsettling riff at the end, really nice. And then Herald of Defiance is just fantastic. Again, death with a bit of black metal, bit of Megadeth, Dave Ellefson style bass in there as well, like a breaking, and there's like this nice little bass thing, real nice. And again with the black metal and the melodies before, leading to like this nice melodic solo at the end, and then the album closes with like this 8-minute epic, Requiem for a Woeful Dynasty. Now this one starts off quite doomy actually, and quite like it's got a nice slow build up. It's pretty much a standard song actually. It's not like a big, sort of bombastic sort of thing, but it's pretty much a standard song. But it has quite a nice intro where things build up nicely, and then during the last 2 minutes things get really climatic, and they just really speed things up in intensity, and you could kind of hear that you could picture them finishing their live set with that song. It really just brings everything to a close, and then just just falls. It's just catastrophic at the end. But when I say at the beginning, you've got the slow doomy section, and then when it does kick in, there's this melody playing over the top, and then that melody carries on through the slow section into the fast section, and this melody over the top carries on and carries it through the whole way. I've got to admit, this song did remind me a little bit of Dead Congregation as well. I know that's an obvious reference, but it's there, and it's meant as a compliment as well. But I love as well, it comes to a right abrupt ending. It just rings out. Oh, shit. Yeah. And then, it just comes to a real sort of sudden, abrupt ending, which I thought was a nice way to... It's just... And then that's it. And, yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic album. This is definitely one of the highlights of the year. I think this is going to be quite high up in a lot of people's end-of-year lists. And, it's great as well that at the beginning I'm hearing a lot of thrash, and then towards the end I'm bringing up bands like Dead Congregation and even a bit of Incantation as well. So I think that's you really do see the transition on this album, and I think they kind of do morph into a death metal band fully. But this is everything you want in a modern metal album is here. It's absolutely a real piece of work. It's like I say, thrash metal and death metal interlaced, all wrapped up in a nice black metal wrapper with a bit of Morbid Angel, bit of Incantation, everything just perfectly thrown in and mixed together nicely. Perfectly paced, fantastic riffs, pummeling drums, awesome vocals. Yeah, everything you want. This has been a really nice surprise. Just as I was getting into the band as well, they go and spring this on me. And one thing as well, when you go through the catalogue, you listen to it in retrospective. I mean, I think these two are obviously the main two, but when you go on the band's Bandcamp, which I'm going to put in the description below, a one-stop shop. You might as well pick everything up while you're there. I mean, everything's nice and cheap. The shipping's not too bad either. While you're there, you might as well just get a lot. It's all good stuff. But you can see the progression as it goes through. The first one's a bit more raw, bit more, rough around the edges, much more thrashy. And then it just develops with every release. And this is the album that they've been building up to. You can see it coming with each release. And it's all building up to this. This is the band's masterpiece. This is the new standard. Everything they do from now on will be coming from this. And that's a really cool thing to witness as it happens. And I think long may this be the start of a new era for the band. I think, I hope they put out a lot of good releases, and I hope this is, they get even better from this. But I think retrospectively you will see this is where the band leap from. This is their mountaintop that they will be measuring all future releases from now on. So definitely. I'm a week in. I've got a whole year ahead of us yet. But this is 9 out of 10 at the moment. And this if this isn't in my top 5, if I hear 5 or 10 more albums that are better than this, then this is going to be a very good year. So Rapture, definitely check it out. Well worth your time. Check out the description. Go on their Bandcamp. And Greece does it again. So, hope you enjoyed that. If you can give me one of them and subscribe and share it around and all that good stuff. Check out metallegion.com. Check out Rapture. and I'll see you all soon. Take care.